Bum, 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 bum. We don't have a formal intro yet, so I'm still singing. Although my joint venture insider show, if you check that out on Wednesdays, does have a cool intro. So definitely check that show out. But this is the Power Lunch Live show where I have up to 4 fantastic guests having a free-flowing and fantastic conversation. And here they are. We had some slight technical difficulties because I originally keyed into StreamYard that this would be 1 p.m., which happens to be when the Joint Venture Insider show is, which is probably why my hand was like, 1 p.m. sounds right. But that is not the right time. 2 is the right time. So here we are, Eastern. Of course, that is. For some of you, it's 1. For some of you, it's noon. For some of you, it's 11. For some, it's like 7 in the morning. Who knows? Anyway, so what's going on? I've got a couple things to promote. Then we'll get on to meeting our guests. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michael Whitehouse, the guy who knows a guy. I'm a professional connector and introducer of people. If you want to see what everyone else is seeing, check me out on TikTok. I had 1,000 followers a month ago. I've got nearly 5,000 now. So apparently some people think I'm pretty cool. You should check it out. And if you want to meet that really cool guy, you can go to guywhoknowsaguy.com/meet. I have an open virtual coffee, a connection bonanza, and a networking gathering. All of those you can drop into anytime. Well, not anytime. You have to drop in when they're running. But whenever they're running, anyone can drop in. That's what they're for, is a way for me to connect with more people and make more connections. All right. And that's all I've got to promote here. So let's tell you about these people, or have them tell you about themselves. And of course, as we were talking about before we got started, Mercury and like 19 other planets are in retrograde. It's all backwards. Everything's going backwards. Thus why I clicked the wrong buttons and things are wrong, and why we have, let's see, 2 out of 4 guests, which, pretty decent show ratio. That's why we schedule 4 guests and see what happens. The universe does not make mistakes. We have the people we are meant to have today. So let's meet those people. First, we have Allison Stillman. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So, wow, a little, or how much do I get since we only have 2?
Like 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll have the rest of the show.
Okay, so I'm an author, teacher, and transformational life coach, and I help people to clear subconscious programming and belief systems so that they can create a life of their dreams. And I do that through a number of different things, primarily aromatherapy, which I have been studying and using for almost 50 years now. So I think that makes me a master aromatherapist.
That is a minute.
Yes, that is a minute. It kind of eats me, but hey, what the heck? I am declaring it out loud. I am a master.
I like it. You certainly know more about than I do. I can't speak for Catherine, but
than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Catherine O'Leary, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. So I know nothing about aromatherapy, so I'm happy to be here. But I do know a thing or two about asking the best questions to attract your best clients, and I do that through quizzes. I actually have 25 plus years in corporate, working in market research and consumer insights. That's a fancy way of saying translating consumer wants, needs, and desires into corporate ease, which was product innovation, marketing campaigns, and sales conversations. Something that corporate does extremely well, something that entrepreneurs tend to skip over, me included, when I first started. I started in network marketing, and it didn't go as well as I had hoped because I wasn't, attracting the best clients. I was attracting everyone but the best clients. So I found a way to actually utilize questions and start conversations that lead people to your offer and an invite to work with you further, and stop being chasey and smarmy and slipping into people's DMs, because that's just weird.
Yeah, don't do that. Fantastic. And so what I forgot to begin with was to explain the format of the show. You might want to know that. So format of the show is, first, I'm going to introduce myself. Check. Then you're going to introduce yourselves. Check. Then each of you has sent in a topic that you wish to talk about. So you're going to talk about your topic for a few minutes, as long as it's necessary to introduce the concept and share a bit about it. We have 2 guests. So you can go a little bit longer than if we had 4. So good job being like, universe, bump a couple of them out of there. I need more time. Well done. I'm assuming if anyone's influencing the universe, Allison, you seem like the universe influencing type. So
Yes, I am. I talk to the universe and guides and angels. I have for 30 plus years. And so I'm a firm believer in using the universe to work together in collaboration for more harmony, power, transition, transformation, anything you want.
excellent. And I just use it to produce my show. So that's the actual much of how this show is put together is based on sort of letting things happen the way they're supposed to. And it's worked really well for almost a year now. I think we started in January. So it's originally I was kind of like, I am being lazy about this. And at some point, I'm sure this is going to be a problem. And now I don't know how many episodes in because we don't count them, but most of a year. And I'm like, nope, this is the format of the show. And it works really well. I meet great people. I actually had one of the past guests signed on as a client recently. So kind of let things happen the way they're supposed to happen. So anyway, we're going to do you're going to discuss your topic, explain it as much as you feel is necessary. Up to, I mean, don't go into like 45 minutes, but 2, 5, 8 minutes. And then we come back into the conversational space here, and we have a little conversation about it, let it flow, see what happens. And then the other of you will go ahead and then more flow. So the first, based on the order that the universe put you onto the agenda, is Catherine is going to be talking about asking the best questions, attracting the best clients. So tell us about that, Catherine.
Excellent. So what has been a bit of a journey of mine and something that I now help entrepreneurs with is a bit of a missing link. So we are all doing our very best with tons of marketing strategies. There's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's networking, JV partners, speak to sell, lots of things that you can be doing to try and find your ideal clients. And once you find them, typically what people do is send them straight into some sort of a masterclass or sales call almost. And there's just a little bit of a misstep that a conversation can actually fill the gap for. So if you actually start with a conversation, start with asking some questions and offering insights to the problem that your best clients are trying to solve, it builds that know, like, and trust factor. It builds you up as a subject matter expert. And it's a nice introduction to you and what your offer is. And then you can invite them as a next step to the webinar, to the masterclass, to the sales page. And you can do all of that, within 60 seconds. So you're taking an email nurture sequence that might take, 6 or 8 weeks, and you're condensing that down into a couple of questions that take them on a journey from the problem that that they're losing sleep over into some insights and an offer to help them, solve that problem, all within 60 seconds. So it's kind of the lead magnet on steroids, if you will. And it's just a really great way to, sit down, almost have a conversation like you're having with a friend. I mean, if a friend came to you and said, look, I want to grow my business, and I know that you're a business coach. Can you help me? There's a few questions that you'd likely ask them first. Where's your business now? What's your team structure? What are your goals? What are your desires and dreams? And what do you think is stopping you? And then you'd offer some insights, and then you'd offer to help them with maybe some coaching or so on. But you wouldn't like slam into them and say, oh, you've got that problem. Oh my gosh. Okay, great. Because I've got like 7 solutions for you. Because it's creepy and it's scary and it's weird because I haven't actually gone through the process of thinking through what my problem is and telling you about it so that you can come up with a solution that fits me. And that's what quizzes do, and what a good quiz with the best questions can actually take people through that journey of, the problem that your ideal clients, right? I mean, you've probably been your ideal client. I don't know if that's just me, but like you've created an offer that solves a problem because you probably had that problem. And So you know what's that one question that your ideal clients are trying to solve. And that's what you want to put out there, because you only want to be talking to your ideal clients. You don't need to be talking to everybody. It's a little bit of I say attract the best and release the rest, because they're somebody else's best. And that's fine. That's great. Concentrate on your, 100 people. I'd rather have 100 people in a room that are actually highly qualified to talk to than have a stadium full of 10,000 people and then try to find that 100 people. I've done that. It's not fun. And half the time you don't even find one person, let alone 100. So that's what quizzes can do. And that's what I'm kind of on a mission that every business deserves a quiz. And I have yet to meet a topic that I cannot do a quiz for. So pretty sure that whether you're bricks and mortar, whether you're e-commerce or you're a service business, you can create a quiz to attract your best clients. Stop talking to everyone and start inviting people into your community instead of kind of being weird and salesy. And don't propose marriage on the first date, I guess is the bottom line.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So I have thought about that, and then a few questions on the execution side. So I'm reminded of Dr. Philip Agrios. He has an amazing quiz on his website. It's a 9-question quiz. And after you take those 9 questions, at least when I took it, it pinpointed exactly. It's about identifying your inner saboteurs. And I took it, I was like, wow, how does this 9-question quiz know me so well? Creepy computer thing. And it was like, this is what your challenge is. This is how you overcome it. And fortunately, I had actually done work to overcome it. I'm like, ooh, correct, neat. So I can certainly see the power of that. If the quiz nails the answer right, that makes sense. I could also see it as a filtering thing. If you help this portion of the market, working with joint ventures, you could build your quiz. If you help this portion of the market, and if they test over here, they get referred to an affiliate partner. If they test over here, they get referred to an affiliate partner. And if they're your people, they go into your system. Yep. So this all sounds great.
Release the rest to your best partners. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what I should have said.
Yeah, which is even better. I mean, release just into the universe is okay. Release to the people who give you a commission is even better. And also solving their problems, so everyone gets helped. But how do you do it? That sounds technical and complex and overwhelming to build a quiz that could read my mind and tell me about myself.
That was my question too.
Well, so it's really starting with your offer. So knowing where you want to send people, and then reverse engineering that to the problem that you're solving with that one offer. So it's really, really kind of knowing your target audience and getting to that one question, and then flipping that into kind of a fun quiz question. So, for example, what's the number one challenge to going from 6 to 7 figures in your business? Like that might, if you're a business coach, that might be what your clients are really struggling with. And they'll stop the scroll and they'll kind of go and, well, wait a minute, that's me. I wonder if this will answer that question. So you're actually attracting the people that you're intending to attract with that, again, that quiz hook and building that. And then from there, it's just really making sure you're taking them on that journey through, you've got the end and you've got the beginning. Now you got to connect the two with questions that make sense, in the sense of, like, if you're sitting down, what questions would you typically be asking? Would you be asking about their team? Would you be asking how long they've been in business? Would you be asking, if they have, Allison, if they have any allergies or anything like that, where it might trigger with the aromatherapy, things of that nature that you'd want to know, so that you can give them the insights that they need at that moment. And that's where a little bit of the, oh my gosh, they're reading my mind, it comes in play. Mm-hmm. The thing is that because you started quizzes are taken from front to end, but they're actually developed, back to front. Mm-hmm. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that people end up that Michael, you ended up in that one bucket, because you couldn't have ended up anywhere else based on what the questions were, and the questions were designed to make sure you went into that bucket.
Mhm.
So so that's it's the end part is where the aha moments are, but that's where you started to begin with. So that's that, again, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's how you can have that holy crap, how did they know that moment.
And so from a technical side, is this something that someone can build themselves, or do they have to hire a technical expert who can create technology for them? Are there services that do it?
There are programs out there. I would say get a quiz platform. So there are several out there. Bucket.io is one. Try Interact is another one, and they are specifically designed to be a platform for questions that branch logic and that kind of thing. It's a little guerrilla warfare to make forms or something do this. It can that can actually get more technical by trying to force something that's not really created to do this, trying to do it. But yeah, there's technical programs out there, and then you've got the quiz queen that you can always ask how to go forward with, and then I have a few options.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's always one thing I wanted. Like, I can understand the logic concept of a quiz. What questions would I ask, and then where would I branch from those questions? But what would I? You still need a computer to do that. And I remember back in the aughts, if that's what we call them, because I don't like the 2000s. We're still in the 2000s. 2004, 5, 6, back when OkCupid was a social media platform and not just a dating site, and you could actually put really robust quizzes on there. And it was a great platform for free. And I'm like, where's the OkCupid of quizzes now? Because it existed 15 years ago, but I've not been able to find it since.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the keys is that because quizzes actually capture leads, you're now connecting to your email service provider so that you got some hosting. So free is a little tough to do.
Right.
When you're actually doing, some of the integration stuff. So free, you kind of get what you pay for, right?
Well, free or modest.
Yeah. Well, Try Interact is a good starting point, I would say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now I know.
And Catherine, what would you say is the return rate on quizzes as opposed to, say, TikTok, which is the new big thing everyone's doing now with videos, or Instagram reels, that kind of thing? What would you say the return is on doing quizzes?
I mean, TikTok to drive traffic to like a lead magnet, you could use TikTok to drive traffic to your quiz. So I think the quiz actually is more of that lead, like that downloadable. And right now, 80% of downloadables are never opened once they're downloaded. A quiz actually gives you immediate real-time results. So you've gotten that interaction and that you've built up that expertise and that trust factor right online, like right in the moment. So you're not relying on the download. So, like how many of us have those folders that it's like, oh yeah, this is great, I'm going to look at that later. And it just goes off into the ether and you never open it again. A quiz actually solves that problem. So a TikTok to a quiz to take them to further, take them through a little bit, getting to know you, and then to your webinar. And now it's a warm lead. And now they're like already knowing you a little bit more. So, your webinar conversion rates can go up. And because your quality of leads are so much higher, your sales conversion leads can go up. So I've had clients that went from, that tripled their return on it, advertising spend. So, when one client or one lead was costing them $3, it went down to $1. So they were able to get 3 times the leads with the same amount of money. So it's really adding that missing link, that conversation to what you're already doing, just to make all your numbers better, right? So that you are increasing your effectiveness, without a whole lot more, advertising spend or, resources on TikTok. Just start linking it into your quiz and let the quiz actually convert, the, people into better quality leads, and then your conversion rates, can go up as much as double.
That's great. So you actually use both of them. TikTok drives you to the quiz.
Yeah.
The quiz is your lead magnet, if you will.
Yeah. So you can drive traffic to your quiz from anything. So
Mhm.
anywhere a link can live, your quiz, or whether you can also create links for your JV partners. So I have a launch running right now where my JV partners have a quiz link, but it's all tagged to them. So as people go through the quiz, I know which partner is actually sending traffic through to the quiz. And the quiz then invites people to Quizalicious, which is the webinar. That's next week. And then, hopefully all the numbers go up from there. So whether it's your Facebook ad, your Instagram post, your TikTok, you're on a networking call, you can drop your quiz link, you're speaking to sell, and you've only got 3 minutes. That's your lead magnet. You can start using it anywhere, really. And it travels well, I guess.
That's great. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, I can see that.
That
Yeah.
is really good. And speaking of the universe, when I watch my TikTok numbers start going up and still getting no leads, and I've met one person from TikTok.
Wow.
And I was like, and actually put this out on Facebook somewhere. And I was like, hey, can anyone tell me what to do with this TikTok traffic? Because it's not like Facebook where you just make another post saying, hey guys, do this. Because every post generates by itself. So your post saying, hey guys, do this sits flat because it doesn't go viral. You get your viral one over here getting 250,000 views that does nothing for you. And then you got this other one where you're like, hey guys, could you do the thing? But if you put your bio going to a quiz that is interesting and then everything refers to check that out in the bio,
Yep.
then that would do it. So
And then
thank you, universe, and thank you, Catherine, for being the instrument to the universe to bring me that answer.
Yeah. So, and then have a really catchy little, easy to remember website for your quiz that you redirect your, to your quiz. Mine is quizformybiz.com. Anyone can take that. It's evergreen. I put it on everything. And it takes you to the quiz and it allows you to go through the quiz. What's the best, the best quiz to attract your best clients? People get the answer, but they're also now on my list.
And you have a separate website for that as opposed to putting
quiz is on its own website, but I redirect people wherever they need to go. So nobody actually necessarily knows that my quizzes are hosted on Bucket.io unless you would the format, but it's all like Quiz for My Biz that goes to the quiz that then goes to the webinar registration on thequizqueen.com.
I see.
So it can appear seamless.
Yeah, that's good.
That is really
good.
We
know the back end is doing a whole different dance.
There's a whole back end, and then you can start customizing, your communications and your emails. Because in my quiz I have speakers. Are you a speaker? Are you a consultant? Are you an author? Are you a host? Check all that apply. And I have that in my email now as a tag, as a segment, so that if I have a joint venture with somebody that maybe Michael is looking for podcast guests, I can, send out to all my speakers, hey, Michael has an event coming up, it might be of interest to you. So I can actually target.
Oh, wow.
So that starts to get in the back end, that starts to get where as a data geek, the cool stuff really happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also it's not something you can dabble into and just make a good lead magnet. And then as you go deeper, you get segmentation and but you don't have to dive into the segmentation and everything goes to different program, different buckets and whatnot.
No, you don't. You can if you want, but you don't have to. No.
And could you do a simple quiz? And I currently have an ebook as my lead magnet on my website. Could I replace it with a quiz?
You can replace it with a quiz and send them to the ebook afterwards, or bundle it with, we'll give you, as as we send you the results in an email. So you give them real-time results, and then you also give them an email, a PDF. You can send them the ebook as a bonus.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
You know, like as a because you took my quiz and because I'm so excited, I'm also going to give you my ebook. But if the ebook has some sort of a course on the end of it, then you can send them actually from the quiz to the sales page for the course. And if it's like a $47 course or something, that's an evergreen funnel that you're done with.
Yeah. And I do have those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So speaking of what you have, Allison, tell us a bit about aromatic alchemy.
Now I'm in the whole, marketing web world. So I guess I would really like to just start with a story. So I came into the world of aromatherapy pretty much as a little one. My grandmother was an incredible gardener, and I used to work in her garden. And I have pictures of me in diapers walking around with my grandmother in her fragrant gardens. And I was always captivated by smell. She had roses and fruit trees that would bloom, the neroli from oranges, and I just delighted in smell. And when I was 18, this is when my whole world changed into aromatherapy. I was hiking in the redwood forest in Northern California, and I was down in a dale, and there was a little stream that went through it, and I smelled this incredible smell. And I just followed my nose, and I came upon this beautiful 6-foot tall wild rhododendron in full bloom. And I stuck my nose into the middle of this bush, and the fragrance overtook me, and I could taste it. I could hear this song that it sang, this humming sweet song, and I could see color in the back of my eyes. And it awakened such a strong sense of smell within me. And I declared in that moment that I was going to do everything I could to learn everything about the sense of smell and fragrant plants. And so it started me on this journey of study, and I've studied with all the world's leading aromatherapists. I've made essential oils. I've grown them. I've distilled them, studied with the world's leading distillers. And I've done a lot of studies with people in recovery and Alzheimer's and dementia, and all the different ways that essential oils affect us on the physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental parts of us. And quite a few years ago, this was probably 30 years ago, I was studying with a very well-known, renowned doctor from England. And it was the first time to smell pure Omani frankincense, which is very hard to find now. And I had this incredible out-of-body, in-body, otherworldly experience where I was witnessing the crucifixion back in history. And I was so immersed in that experience. And I came back into this classroom, and there's like 70 people in this classroom, and people were gathered around me. So obviously I was in the experience for some time. And there were a couple of people next to me, and they said, "Are you okay?" And the first words out of my mouth were, "I want to do anointing work." And they said, "What is that?" And I said, "I don't know. I have no idea what that is." And so I bought some of the frankincense from the doctor, and I started doing meditation with the frankincense. And frankincense, we've all heard about frankincense, gold, and myrrh were the gifts that the 3 wise kings gave to baby Jesus. And frankincense is still used in most spiritual and religious ceremony. And it is a psychoactive essential oil, which means it induces visionary states. And so I started meditating with it, and I started having this vision of these temples in Egypt thousands of years ago. And I was shown this work, anointing work, sacred anointing work, over the course of about 6 months. And I said, wow, I'm really being given something here. So I started putting friends and family, whoever I could get on the table. And I started doing what I had been shown. And this was work that was done by the priests and priestesses in the temples of Egypt, particularly the Temple of Dendara, which was the home of the priestess thousands of years ago. And it was work that then became sacraments in the modern day traditions. And people came when they were ready to transition into a different aspect of their lives. So initiation into the temples, marriage ceremonies, coronation, last rites. And so these were very elaborate ceremonies, and I started doing them on friends and family, whoever would get on my table. People started having such profound, life-changing experiences. And I said, okay, this is really something. And I said, I need to do research on this. And I went to old Gnostic archive museums and libraries and old manuscript museums, and there was nothing written about it, absolutely nothing, except for what was written in the Bible. And so I recognized that I was being given a great gift. And so I developed this body of work and brought it forth and wrote a book about it. And I've taught workshops about it all over the world. And from that, I developed a coaching practice, because what I saw was this work allows you to let go of old aspects of yourself so that you can move into new phases in your life. And then through all the work that I've done with Bob Proctor and Dr. Joe, and learning different techniques that they've used to clear old subconscious programming, what I've found is that the aromatherapy piece is such an incredible tool to fast track the changes that you want to make. And the reason for that is that aromatherapy, or the use of essential oils, is the fastest way to access the emotional and behavioral centers of the brain, as well as the long-term memory, which is stored in the amygdala, which is a portion of the brain. And so I've combined a lot of different techniques, and I've gotten very good over the 35 years I've been doing this work to know the questions to ask, back to you, Catherine, the questions to ask people to get them to the place where they set up their original core belief systems that run their lives. And we all get them. You know, we come in as these pure divine beings and we go, wow, what am I doing here? How did I land here? How do I do this? And you look to your mom, you look to your dad, and you go, oh, that's how you be a man. That's how you be a woman. And then you borrow belief systems from your family. And if you grow up with religion, you borrow those belief systems. And by the time you're 6, 7 years old, you're cooked. Your subconscious belief systems are fully intact, and you live at the expense of those. And you can actually change those subconscious belief systems. And then you can change the emotional and behavioral centers of the brain using the oils. And the oils actually can help break up the miasms of energetic frequency that those belief systems hold in the body, and you can clear them out of the body. So that's the storyline of what I do. And I've been offering this work. That's the storyline of what I do. And I've been offering this work. Okay. I'm not sure why that happened.
I don't know why that happened either. I blame Mercury.
I guess I needed to say that a couple times for it to really go in.
Apparently.
Yeah, so that's kind of what brought me to the work that I do, and why I get so passionate. You can tell when I start talking about it. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Everybody needs to know about it.
Yeah, that's really interesting stuff.
Yes, it is.
Catherine, thoughts?
Well, I just so I this is fascinating. I'd love to do a session. But can you do this over Zoom, or is it an in-person?
Well, I actually see people. Well, I haven't for a few years because of COVID, which thankfully I had developed this into a online practice because I've gotten really good at being able to, and I'm also very intuitive. I've developed that over the years. The essential oils are really good at developing that. And so I know how to get people to core issues. And I was thinking about this when you were talking, Catherine, of you start with the end in mind and then you work your way back to the beginning. I kind of do that with the people that I work with on Zoom. And because I've had so many clients come to me from all over the world, and with the current level of events in our world these days, a lot of people can't get to me. So I developed this about 6-7 years ago where I could do it online for people. And then I'll create a custom blend for them at the end of the session based on the work that we've done together. And I mail that off to them so that they're working with affirmations, they're working with oils and different things that we developed. But I usually start the session by saying, where do you want to go? What do you want to create? What do you want to manifest in your life? And then we set a timeline for that. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a client I was working with in Santa Barbara, and I said, okay, where do you want to go? What do you want? What do you want out of this session? What's your goal in this one? And she said, I really want to buy a house. I really want to do that. And I said, okay, when would you like to do that by? And this was in December, a few years back. And she said, I'd like to do it within 1 year. I'd like to do it by next December. I said, okay, great. So we did our whole session, finished up. She got her oil. She was doing the practice that we set up for her. And 4 months later, I get a text from her going, oh my gosh, I just bought my first house. I'm like, great. So if you're really dedicated to a disciplined practice and you're working, in the manner in which we divine when we work together, I just have watched, I want to call them miracles because it happens so fast. And I love that. I'm not okay, we're going to work together for the next year and a half and we're going to have a session every week. I don't do that. It's like, let's just get to the core issue. We'll find out exactly what it is and let's clear that and put in some new programs and new paradigms so that you can work at a whole different level, a whole different frequency. And the essential oils are incredible for raising the frequency. They've actually been tested and have a lot of them have very high frequencies. So if we vibrate somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 to 75 at an optimum frequency, that's the electromagnetic frequency at which we vibrate, right? That's a measurable scientific measurement. There are certain essential oils that vibrate at 300 hertz. So just imagine that you're anointing yourself. You're putting a couple drops of this oil on your body. It's raising your electromagnetic frequency above dis-ease, illness, stress, worry, which are all very low frequencies, right? So just by using a couple oils a day, I don't leave the house without anointing myself with oils. I do it before I go to bed. I do it in the bath. I know how well they work to raise the frequency of the body, mind, and the spirit. And so I think they're one of the most powerful tools that we have on the planet today for optimal health and wellness in every arena of our lives.
I love that. And I can just see a quiz right now. What does your success smell like?
I love it.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Good. We're going to have to play together, Catherine.
Yeah, I think we do. Yes, I think we do.
No wonder it was just the three of us today.
And that's the power of the Power Lunch Live show.
Right. Well, and that's the universe going, well, you think you're going to have 5 people, but really you guys need to connect and work together and co-create.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So I always say that my show has I have 2 producers. We have a whole production team. My 2 producers are Serendipity and Random Happenstance. We started just one producer. It was only Serendipity at first, and then as it got bigger, we had to build the team. So
yeah, I love that. It's interesting because I have in my circle, my tribe, I have a lot of very intuitive friends. And it used to be, I don't know if y'all are experiencing this, but it used to be that we could see far into the future and we could tell things that were going to happen. And none of us have that ability anymore. It's about staying present with what is and being fully aware and authentic and real in the present moment. And back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this show, the universe will bring to us exactly what we need when we need it.
Yeah. Well, and for me, like 2020 wasn't a huge shock for me because around 2013, 2014, first I got married, which was a very dramatic shift in lifestyle for a number of reasons beyond just getting married and having a child. By the time my daughter came along, there were so many changes. I'm like, oh, so this is another change. And so I developed the discipline of just being like, so this is where we are now. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of going with it. I was it's similar to going down a water slide. You can't fight a water slide. You're going down it. You can go down sideways or upside down, but you're still going where the slide goes, no matter how much you try to fight it. Or you can not fight it and have fun. And so I kind of developed that practice. So by the time 2020 came around, I'm like, oh, so we're not leaving the house now. Okay, well, that's interesting. So this idea of, not knowing, I think a lot of people had the illusion of knowing what the future is going to bring prior to 2020. Now we've given up that illusion. We never knew it was coming. We just thought we did. And honestly, I think I have a clearer picture of where it'll be 5 years from now today than I did in 2015, just because of shifts that have happened. But while I have a clearer picture, I'm not married to it. So if something changes, like my business is starting to present other opportunities off the track I've been following this year, still in the networking space, of course, because that's what I do. But it's presenting different opportunities like, oh, are we going over here now? Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, we're going over here now. Oh. And I started leaning back into the idea of courses and training, which I'd leaned out of. And so things start to come together. My explosion on TikTok, and then Catherine being like, you should build a quiz, and here's how, which is probably the 6th time I've heard her talk about quizzes. But the first time I actually opened up the platforms and said, oh, I should look at building a quiz. So the universe provides you what you need as you need it. Well, it probably provides you what you need constantly. You notice it when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's funny because I'd always pictured myself ending up in Hawaii because I've been one of the other things that I do, which is really more for my pure joy, is I lead retreats to swim with wild dolphins. And I've been doing that for the last 27 years. And I always thought, okay, I'm a mermaid. I need to be living in Hawaii by the dolphins and the whales. And I guess it was back in 2018, I was burned out in the fires in California. And I called a really good friend of mine who's a very well-known psychic. And I said, okay, I just want I have one question. Where am I moving to? And she goes, well, we've always seen you in Hawaii. She goes, but you're telling me Nashville is your home. And I'm like, Nashville, huh? And so I tried it on and it started feeling actually pretty good. I have some friends in the music business that I know here. And so I took a trip here and had a realtor. And I said, all I want to do is drive around and find the neighborhood. I don't want to look at any houses. I just want to feel into it. We drove 250 miles all around Nashville. I go, nope, this isn't it. Nope, this isn't it. And finally found the neighborhood, went back home and, packed up what little I had. And I said, oh, I should probably find a house now. And a friend called me up and said, oh, I found your house. It's perfect. It's your house. And I had the realtor go over, FaceTime me. And I said, oh yeah, this is perfect. I'll take it. Right. So when you're meant to do something or go somewhere, the universe is so explicit in saying, no, you're going to go here. You thought you were going to go there, but you're going over here and here's your house here. Just go for it.
Yeah, it is. It is a powerful phenomenon how that works.
You'll be where you're supposed to be,
Yes. Yes.
even
Yeah.
if it's at the bottom of a water slide.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's some lesson or teaching or something that's going to show itself and reveal itself that you'll learn from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think so often we want to force, I need to do something, and I've learned that sometimes you don't. Actually, today, for example, I've had a couple of rough things happen this week, and today I woke up at 4 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep, and it was kind of this morning. And I was like, okay, this is the time when I normally get stuff done. I'm going to get a little stuff done. I'm going to do what I can, and then from there, whatever happens will happen, and I'm sure I'll find my way back on track. And sure enough, so I realized like the 2 hours I was supposed to work this morning were not pivotal world affecting hours. If I did not get anything done during that time, it would be okay. And I think that's where burnout really happens, when you try to push that, the check engine light comes on, so you hit the gas harder. And if you instead just let it go and be like, hey, let me slow down, release the pressure, release tension, and then see where this is trying to push me, as opposed to, I need to take control. Because I don't know where I'm going.
Well, and look at the difference in your energy when you did those two things. It's like, I got to make this happen. I'm going to work really hard, and you're stressed and you're contracted, and it's very stressful. Whereas you go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to float down in my raft and let the current take me. And where do I want to go? And at this age and stage, do we really want to be that stressed out anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it, because it can be tough when things are, when like the numbers don't look right on the budget anymore, or you lose a job, you lose a client. It looks like there's something, this needs action. Something happened. It requires action. But sometimes it's at that moment when sometimes you do, the house is on fire. You need action. You can't be like, all right, let's calm down and see what the correct flow is. The correct flow is out the door. The house is on fire. But there's other times when but we're conditioned for fight or flight response. So our reptilian brains aren't designed for complex, like, oh, I see a pattern that indicates that the climate is shifting, so the crops are going to change in the next 5 years. Our brains aren't built for that. Our brains are, if something's urgent, okay, lion outside camp going to eat us.
Right.
No time for quiet, time for action. But
right.
1 of 10 clients leaves, and then a second client leaves 2 weeks later. That's not lying outside the camp. That's something is changing and shifting, and let's see what it is. Because otherwise you can cascade it. 2 of your 10 clients leave, and you panic, and then start pushing your other clients, and you push them out while you're trying to hold them in.
Yeah. It's interesting. When I was evacuated in the fires, 2:00 in the morning, I had the neighbors pounding on the door, and there was no electricity. And I went to the door, and it was my next door neighbor saying, you have to get out, and you have to get out now. I'm like, and you go into that panic mode of, oh my gosh, I got my dog, my cat, and myself. And I turned around, looked out the back window of the dining room, the entire mountain was on fire. And I went, no, this is serious. Right. And so you're in that mode of, running for your life, and thousands of people were running for their lives. We're in the car, of course. But anyway, then I'm like, oh my God, I didn't get this. I didn't get that. Oh, the things my mom gave me when she died. And I don't have that. I didn't have that. And after a few minutes of like really stressing out about, because I got nothing, right? I had to get out. It was like, it's all just stuff.
Yeah.
Get more stuff. Doesn't matter, right? I have my dog and cat. I'm alive, and so just relaxing into it's all just stuff. I'm alive.
Yep. Well, right? I think the real stress is in when you have decisions to make. So what should I do? Where should I go? Where should I move to? What business should I start? That's where you have tension. Once the decision's made by you or for you, there's no stress anymore. There's no point in stressing about what you left behind the house. You don't have a choice. It is done. It has already happened.
Right.
You can't change that. And so there's a simplicity in an actual emergency where you have a limited set of options and you make the best choice you can in the 20 seconds you have. I think that's why business can be tougher, because your emergencies unfold over 2 weeks,
Right.
Or a month or 3 months. And so there's way too much time to worry about, what it is. But a true emergency forces the triage process
Yes.
of what's important, what's not important. Okay, not important, not important, not important. Do that. Whereas in business, it's easier to fall into the well, maybe I can get that client back, or maybe I can find those files again, or maybe I could revive this summit. I could relaunch it. Maybe, I don't know. And that's where you kind of go down the rabbit hole and can wear yourself down.
I like having the signs of the universe. I just say, okay, if you really want me to make a change, if you really want me to do this, just give me a sign. Just make it really clear. Hand it to me on a silver platter so I don't have to do that.
You got to be careful with that, because sometimes the mountain's on fire.
Well, yes.
Yeah. The problem is us universe signs people have huge secondary effects around us. Like, your sign burned out your whole town. My sign shut down the world economy. So you got to be careful with those.
Yes.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Indeed. That's so true.
Yeah. The pandemic was easily the best thing that ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is recognizing the fortune that no one in my family was directly affected by it. Nobody lost their job. Nobody lost their business. Nobody lost their health. And so the catastrophe I got to watch from a distance, while the transformation I got to watch up close.
Right.
And so for me, it was a very positive event. For the average, it was probably not. But same thing. It sounds like maybe the fire for you it led to better things. Although I feel like your neighbors might have said, I would trade your better things for our town not burning down.
Yes.
But you didn't have a choice. It's not like you didn't burn the mountain down to do
I did
it.
not,
and it's peripheral to.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an interesting experience.
But I've heard from other people that the wildfires took their homes and everything, and they've ended up in far better, like situations that they would never have even dreamed of. And so much better, like one of my friends said, when you come and see the house that I have now, you won't be sorry for me. Because of the wildfires, like you won't feel sorry for me, because what she ended up with in Arizona from California, it was substantial. So, it's being open to the opportunities, even if it kind of sucks the way the opportunities came to you.
Right.
Yep. Yeah,
you didn't realize it's a gift when you're in the midst of the.
That's a hard thing to see.
Yeah.
Like the pandemic. It's a hard thing to see that might have been a bit of a gift, not for everyone, but
right.
Yeah.
I mean, for me it was.
Yep. Yeah, I reminded. So I'm a big geek. I just ran an event called Entrepreneur, to give you an idea how much a geek I am. And there's a line from the show Babylon 5, which is, "The avalanche has already begun. It's too late for the pebbles to vote." And that's
good. I like that.
And that's kind of the way it is with those big things like wildfire or pandemic or something like that. Like, things are gonna happen. And then it's a question of how are you going to flow with it? Or try to fight against it. You can try to stand in the path of the avalanche, but like, no avalanche.
Well, and I think, one of the great gifts of the fires for me was, I moved to Tennessee, to Nashville, and 6 months later, there was a derecho, which is a once in every 200-year storm. It was a 200-mile wide straight line wind event, and it took out a portion of East Nashville. And then a month later, there was a tornado that devastated another area. And because I had been through the fire, I was like, oh, I can get rid of clothes. I can take clothes to help them. Oh, I can take dishes to help these people. Oh, I can do this. I can help them this way, because I knew what people needed from the previous experience. And more and more, we're going to be seeing events like that. And so I think my level of detachment to stuff has served a lot of people. So it was a good teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Not fun going through it, but
no.
As long as you're not bringing storms with you.
No, they've been getting tornadoes here for a long time.
It's kind of like the joke about Murder, She Wrote, where this random old woman wanders from town to town, and every small town she shows up in, somebody gets killed. And you're like, huh, I don't have to be a detective to see a pattern in this one.
It's not
She's
me.
a serial killer.
Where?
So,
It's Mercury.
Yeah.
In retrograde. That's what it is.
It's climate change. Yeah.
Apparently there's other planets retrograde. I don't know what that means. I just know Mercury. But
yeah.
Although I started believing in that because somebody mentioned it to me, and then having no idea what the cycles were, I just would occasionally be like, I bet Mercury's in retrograde. And I'd go check, and it'd be like, Mercury's been in retrograde for 3 days. And I'd be like, aha, I could tell. So when you can double blind test it, that's how you know it's a thing.
Well, and I think you were saying earlier too, I think there's about 6 planets that are retrograde right now. So it's
wonky. It's wonky out there, people. Keep your helmets on.
Yeah, I think Mercury is in retrograde till October 2nd, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the other ones are, but good luck, everybody. Watch out for hurricanes and tornadoes and everything else. Wildfires, pandemics, lions and tigers.
No, we're already done with those.
And thank goodness that we have this vehicle to be able to come together in community and share knowledge that we can just sit in our homes and not be out in the world.
Mm-hmm. And that can be next quiz. What global catastrophe will lead to your next awakening?
Yeah, let's not put that out there. let's not invite that. Let's not. Yeah.
And that's why I'm not the quiz queen.
Exactly.
Or king.
Exactly.
So with that, let's go to some final thoughts. So, Allison, as we come to the end of our time, what are your parting thoughts? And or what do you want people to do? Call to action. Now's a good time to do that too.
I think what I would share with people is, especially in the world of aromatherapy and learning what essential oils can do for you, is to just start using them. Go get yourself a bottle of lavender and start smelling it. Put a couple drops on your pillow at night. Put it on your sheets. Rub a couple drops on the back of your spine. 1 or 2 drops is all you need in the palm of your hands. Just start using them, because what I've always told my students over the years is that they will work with you. They've been working with us for over 10,000 years in recorded history. They have an inherent knowledge of their relationship with us, and it's very symbiotic with us. And they'll awaken your intuition, and you'll start to want to use them more, and you'll play with them more. But just get started using them, because they are one of the most powerful tools I've ever come across.
All right. Thank you. And Catherine, final thoughts.
Yeah, if you're going to be asking people questions, ask them with intention. Know what you're going to be using the answers for. Don't ask popcorn questions just for the sake of asking questions. That just annoys people. So don't be annoying, I guess is my final word. But if you're going to ask a poll question, or you're going to ask something on your social media, make sure you're reporting back the results. And you know, it's obvious why you've asked the question, because that engages your audience as well. And just, you know, continue asking those questions, because the questions will lead you to the best clients and the best products.
Nice. And is this the correct website for your quiz?
It is.
So
that's it. Quiz for my biz over here. Quiz for my biz.
Yeah, when you're on here enough, you get to learn how to reverse.
It's a mirror thing. Yeah.
It's how I can point to my background like this. Like, really, I have a lot of practice doing the weatherman thing. All right. Well, thank you. And of course, we are here every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. But if you like watching me live at 1 p.m., might I invite you to the Joint Venture Insider Show, which is Wednesdays at 1 p.m., where I bring people on to talk about what's new in the world of joint ventures. Other things that may interest you are, I have an inner circle program. So if you are starting a business and want to ask a ADHD guy who knows a guy and a little bit of everything else for tips and advice, my inner circle program might be valuable. And finally, if you'd like to connect with me and other people, come to my open virtual coffee and connection bonanzas at guyknowsaguy.com/meet. That's with 2 E's, not M-E-A-T. M-E-A-T. There's no actual animal flesh there, just meeting and gathering. So that's that. And before I tell any more bad jokes, I'm going to let you all go. So thank you all for joining us. See you next week. And stick around, guest, for a second after I hit the red button.